Joe Oaks here with HANKSTERS Hot Rods here in our Homer City, Pennsylvania location. And today we've got newest addition to our inventory, a real nice 1970 Plymouth Duster 340. It is a real Duster 340, and just before I get started anything else, this is a numbers matching motor in the car. So we're going to go ahead around the outside of this, and then as we get around to the front here, we'll go inside the hood and take a look at that motor and see what it exactly is. But again, as you can see here, we've got the bright red exterior on this car. If you look at the fender tag, which this car does have, and decode it all the way, you will find out that that is the correct color for the car also. So bright red exterior with the correct longitudinal black stripes the whole way down the side of the car there. So again, those are real nice. Those are vinyl stripes. If for some reason you didn't like them, you can take them off, but it is original equipment for this car. Now you'll see on this car, you don't have a lot of the bright work that you would on some of the other vehicles. So you'll see it's missing the wheel lip moldings, but again, it calls out on the trim tag, on the fender tag, that this car did not come with those. So again, this is correct the way you're seeing this car. We've got the Duster 340 decal on the fender here, and then as far as wheels and tires go, we've got the original factory 14-inch steel rally wheels, complete with the beauty rings and the center caps, and then we have all four the same size tire. They're 215/70 R14s, and these are the Goodyear Eagle GT2s. So again, real good tires the whole way around on this car. If you can't hear me and you're having trouble, I'm trying to speak up a little bit. We're going through a rainstorm right now, so it might be a little hard to hear. But all the metal in excellent shape on this car. As I stand at the front and look down the side here, I can tell you that the sides are just as straight as can be on this car. I can also see the door here, the elevation of it compared to the fender and the rear quarter panel, and I can tell you that that door adjustment is just dead on. Our gaps, front to back, are very good here too on this car. So again, door fitment, panel alignment is all really nice on this car. Now you'll see we do have the bright drip rail moldings here. That is correct for the car. And then we've got the mirror here on the driver's side door. Just a manually adjustable mirror, not a remote mirror or anything like that. So let's come to the door here, open this up just real briefly for us. And we're going to take a quick peek at the interior right now. So you'll see we've got all red interiors. The red vinyl bench seat, factory dash, all the factory instrumentation is in this car, red door panels, and then of course our weather stripping is real good condition here. There's no cracks or tears or chunks in it. We've got the rubber bump stops here on the door as we should, and then of course your weather stripping and seals along the top side here are in excellent condition too. We'll close this up. You see it closes real nice and easy. Again, that shows how well the door is adjusted. So then we come back here, this big old quarter panel back here for this car. Again, the metal is just as straight as can be. Paint is excellent on the car. Nice, it's brushed out nice, it looks good. It's got a nice shiny finish to it. Again, not to be disappointed for anybody here. I've got the stock gas cap here, nothing special there. And again, those wheels and tires. Alright, now that we're around the back side of our 1970 Plymouth Duster 340, we're going to take a look at all the stuff that we normally do. We've got a rear window here and all of that bright work, the trim that's around that window, all these moldings, those are in really nice shape. They polished up real nice, and they're good and straight the whole way around. They're not dinged up or anything like that. Big trunk lid for this car here for the Duster, and we can look here, the side that's closest to the camera obviously, you can see how nice this gap is all the way from end to end there. That is the same on this side too, so our gaps on this trunk lid the whole way around it are very nice. Elevations with the quarter panel also, couldn't ask for them to be much better than they are on this particular car. Again, you can see that bright red paint there on the trunk lid, just as nice as can be. And this particular car has this black rear trunk wing also. Again, according to the fender tag, this is original equipment for this car. You can see on our tail panel here, we've got those black stripes continued over onto here. You also have the Duster 340 decal back here as well. And you can see our tail lights here, the tail light bezels for them. Everything is just as nice as it can be on this car. There's no cracks or chips in our lenses whatsoever. The bezels around there are painted black, very nice accents to this car. And then you can see this rear bumper. This thing is nice, very highly polished chrome rear bumper here. And they've finished this exhaust off with a set of chrome exhaust tips back here too to finish everything off on the back side of the car here. What we'll do next is we're going to go ahead and pop our trunk open for you. You can hear the trunk lock pop, so it works. Trunk's a little bit heavy. Again, it is a big piece of metal there we're lifting, and that trunk wing does weigh it down a little bit too. But once you get it up there, you can see the hinges work great. The spring that's in there holds that trunk lid up just as it should. Our weather stripping and seals the whole way around. That looks to be all new as well. Nice and soft the whole way around. It's butted up against itself right here, so there's no gaps whatsoever with the weather stripping. So they've done a real nice job with everything here. That should seal up perfectly from the outside elements. When we look inside the trunk, I'm going to tell you it's painted that same red as what the exterior of the car is. We do have a very nice trunk mat in here. Of course, a full-size spare tire lies underneath that. And then we do have the original bumper jack in here and the lug wrench all anchored down in the trunk as they should be. So that's really it. Again, you can see the whole way around, even in the trunk jams, the paint is just as nice as can be. So really nice. You got the original decal too on the trunk lid. So again, real nice look for it back here. So we're going to go ahead and close this up, and then we're going to continue our way around the car, heading up the passenger side, and then we'll meet up at the front end also. Alright, now here on the passenger side, we're just going to start back here and work our way up the whole side of the car here. And again, I'm going to tell you that this side here is nice and laser straight. You don't see any waviness whatsoever in the metal or in the paint finish of this car. So again, these big quarter panels, if there was any waviness, you definitely see it, but there is not on this particular car. Again, on here, we don't have the bright wheel lip moldings, so those aren't absent, but again, they were not standard equipment on this car. You've got those black longitudinal stripes that travel the whole way down the side of the car in very nice condition. Again, those are vinyl. And then, of course, the wheels and tires, 14-inch factory rallies with those Goodyear Eagle GT2 215/70 R14 tires. As I mentioned on the other side here, we've got the bright drip rail molding, which was factory equipment on this car. So what we'll do is, before we look at the gaps and everything, let's open this door up just like we did on the other side. Take a quick peek here. Again, you've got the rubber bump stop up on top. The weather stripping the whole way around the door looks to be in excellent condition. Again, no cracks, tears, chunks taken out of it. Perfect. Again, red door panels, red front bench seat, got the factory dash, factory instrumentation, factory steering wheel and column. So again, all of that stuff looks good, and we're going to take a closer look at that in just a minute here. Again, door close is very nice and easy. Now we can look at those gaps here on the back side, as well as up here on the front and the elevations. Again, you can look at the elevations from front to back, back to front, vice versa, whatever you want to do there. Dead on, and those gaps are very uniform front to back. So again, door fitment, very, very nice on this car. Again, we have the Duster 340 decal here on the front fender. And then again up here, these are all of our reflectors. Those are all in good shape too. So again, no cracks, no chips out of any of those. Right, now finally we've made our way up to the front of the car here. So again, 1970 Plymouth Duster 340. And again, that is what this car is. Big factory steel hood here. Again, you can look at the metal work on this car and see how nice and flat that hood is, nice and straight it is. Also, your gaps the whole way up here, your elevations compared with that front fender, even over here too. Again, for a 1970s vehicle, you could not ask for fitment any better than what you see on this particular car. Again, you've got just your stock front grille for this car here, done in black, all intact. There's nothing broken out of it. It's all solid grille here. Our headlights themselves are just your traditional sealed beam headlights, so your highs and lows are both contained in here, and then there's no cracks or chips in these glass lenses. They are in excellent shape. Headlight bezels here, the buckets themselves, very nicely done. The finish is exactly what it should be. It's kind of like a silverish gray finish on those. So again, it sets off that grille just very nice. And again, your parking lights or your turn signals here, those lenses are in excellent shape too. There's no cracks or chips in those. The bezels around there, the bright work on there, that is in good condition as well. Once again, just like on the back side of the car, we've got that big front chrome bumper now, and that thing is polished up. I mean, it's like a mirror. You can see yourself in it. It looks great. So what we're going to do now is pop our hood, and we're going to find out what's underneath here, which is the original numbers matching 340 cubic inch Mopar motor. This particular motor was rated for 275 horse with a factory 2-barrel carburetor, which I believe is on this car. It has a Carter 4934S 4-barrel carburetor. It's a single feed carburetor, and I believe that's what this car came with. The engine itself is very, very factory or stock appearing. It's got the original cast exhaust manifolds on it, the original cast intake on it too. The intake and valve covers have been painted that Hemi orange color. It's got the original factory style air cleaner here also that has the 344 barrel decals on it. It's got all the heater lines hooked up, and these look to be all new lines and hoses. Those look great. It's got your valve cover breather and PCV valve there. Now it is a manual brake car, and we will go over that here in a minute. It's a disc brake up front, drum brake in the rear car, and it's a manual steering car, but again, exactly the way that this car came from the factory. Got the factory style radiator in it as well. It's got a 7-blade clutch fan in it, and it does have the fan shroud on it too to help with cooling. Other than that, it retains the stock style ignition system in it, so stock distributor, stock coil. I believe they probably have upgraded the wires in it to some newer wires, some 7mm plug wires is what it has. So that's going to all get you your fire to where it needs to go. Other than that though, it's just an all-around very nice timepiece here that we're looking at. Again, fender tag is intact with all the correct codes here. So again, that's something that we'll have a photo of on our website. You can use that to do your own research with and find out that everything that we're telling you about this car is in fact, honest and true about this car. So with that said, we're all done underneath the hood here. Okay, now that we're sitting inside the comfort of our 70 Plymouth Duster here, we can go through what we're looking at here as far as the interior goes. Again, on first impression here, you can tell that the interior is extremely red. But it's very nice though. I mean, it is, you can't really say enough about how well quality this interior is. The red door panels, the painted red uppers and lowers. You've got the red padded dash, which by the way, that pad on the dash is in excellent shape. There's no cracks in it whatsoever. You've got the original steering wheel here, once again in red, but again, it is in nice shape. There's no cracks or splits in the steering wheel at all. The dash itself, you've got that wood grain inlay in here, and then you have just all the factory instrumentation from what would have been original in this car. You've got a 150 mile-an-hour speedo over there, and then you also have in your combo gauge here, you've got the water temperature, the oil pressure, the fuel gauge, and then you also have the voltmeter in there as well. We retain the factory original AM radio in here, as well as the factory heater controls as well. You can see it's got the red carpeting, which is in very good condition. You don't see any rips or tears in the carpeting whatsoever. The headliner, red as well, but again, there's no holes, no tears, or anything like that. It's nice and tight the whole way across, side to side and front to back. Even back on the sail panels, you can tell that the headliner is pulled nice and tight on this vehicle. Front bench seat, that's what this car originally had. That's what it has now. It does have the fold down armrest here also, that for comfort reasons when you're driving, you get to put that down and give your arm a little break there. We've got all the seat belts in here, front seat belts, rear seat belts as well. Those quarter windows on the back, they do not roll down. They do pop out though, like a vent window would. And that is the way that they would have been from the factory. As far as anything else goes in here, it's got the package tray back there, also done in red. Again, just the upholstery is so nice in this car, nice and soft. It's very comfortable. So again, I don't think you're going to have a disappointment in the world with this car here. That's pretty much it. You do have the column shifter, I failed to mention. So nothing here on the column. But again, that's one reason why it's got the bench seat in here, because your shifter's up there on the column. So other than that, we're really done here on the inside. Just a little bit of like Duster badging here in the inside of the car, but really nothing over the top. So just an overall really nice car. So we're going to go ahead through the underside of this car here and point out to you what we are looking at underneath here. Starting from the front, working our way to the back here, we're going to start with the front suspension here. We've got a sway bar up front here. All of our bushings and sway bar end links look to be in real good shape. Of course, suspension wise, this car does retain the factory torsion bar front suspension with the strut rods here to keep everything all in line across the front end here. So lower control arms and the upper suspension arms, those are all stock factory components. The steering, that's all factory stock stuff too. Now all of the rubber dust caps here on all of your ball joints, those are all in good shape, and you can tell that everything's been greased up underneath here real good and maintained properly. As far as braking components up front, we do have disc brakes up front, and these are just your factory type components here for your disc brakes, and they are manual brakes. Manual steering as well on this particular car, and it does look like they've gone ahead and put a set of new shocks on the front of this, as well as I believe they've got them on the back as well. So all of that stuff's going to make the car ride real nice. As far as wheels and tires go on the car, we do retain the stock factory 14-inch rally wheels on this car, and then we do have the same size tires all the way around. We've got two 1570 R14s, and those are the Goodyear Eagle GT2 tires. As far as the driveline, again starting here up front, we have the numbers matching motor in this car. So it is numbers matching 340 cubic inch motor. With the research we did, that would be the 275 horse single 4-barrel car that we have here. Now that motor is mated up to the TorqueFlite A727 automatic transmission here. Bell housing's in real nice shape. It does have the flywheel cover on it as well. You can see the transmission pan on this car too is in very nice shape. It hasn't been dented up or scratched up. Looks real good. The transmission cross member, I can tell you that looks all real nice here. Nice and straight, nice and square. And the actual tail shaft mount, the bushing for it here, that is in excellent condition also. We see our exhaust system here. That's complete from your stock cast exhaust manifolds, dual exhaust all the way back. Got your crossover pipe right here. We've got the dual mufflers tucked up in nice and tight. Everything has been all welded here. And then we do have the tailpipes over top of the rear end and out the rear, and they have those completed with a set of chrome exhaust tips out the back of the car. Now we can see our floor plan here too. The floors are actually all the factory floors in this car. I don't see where there's been any patching or any replacement of parts here. What we are seeing underneath here would be your factory undercoating for this car. We also see we have all the cables here all intact for our emergency brakes here going to those rear drums. So those are all hooked up and should be in working fashion. Again, like I said, the floors are great. All of your pinch welds here across the bottom of the car here on both sides look to be really good too for a 1970 Mopar here. Now coming back here, we've got a real nice painted up drive shaft here. Looks like it has been balanced also, so that's a good feature here. So you're not going to get any kind of undue vibration in your driveline. As far as the rear end goes, we do have a Mopar 8 3/4 inch rear end. That does have the 1 3/8 small stem pinion in it. It's a 323 gear ratio that's inside the rear end, and this is what they would call the 741 rear end. So we did look all of that stuff up. Rear suspension, we've got the multi-leaf rear suspension. Again, it's all stock stuff back here. Newer shocks on the back end, so again, that's going to dampen any of those bumps that you encounter on the roads along the way. As far as the fuel tank goes, we do retain the stock factory fuel tank, and that's in really good shape too. Again, no dents or dings in it. All of our mounting hardware, the straps here, bolts and everything that hold that up in place are all in excellent shape. And from what I can see underneath here, as far as our trunk pan goes, now we do have that spare tire provision here that kind of dips down here. That's in really good condition, and all of the floor that I can see underneath here looks to be in really good condition too, all one piece. No patching or anything to speak of on that trunk floor as well. Frame rail sections that we have on this car, we've got these rear dog legs here. Those are in really good shape. As far as the front subframe there, that looks all in good condition too. So as we just went over everything looks really nice under here. So all we have to do, all we've got left now is to lower this down and go ahead and fire that engine up. But before I leave you in this clip, I'll just say that you can always contact us by calling us or emailing us, or going to our website, www.hanksters.com. And as we've listed before now, we do have the capability. You can go on our site and text us any questions or comments you have about this car or any other car that we do have in our inventory.